My name is Ronnie Conway. I'm the principal lawyer and solicitor advocate at the Conway Accident Law Practice. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to say to you just a few words about passenger accidents. And by that I mean car passenger accidents and bus passenger accidents. Insofar as car accidents are concerned, there are two main causes of vehicle accidents. The first is excessive speed, and the second is failing to keep a proper lookout. And it's very easy for a driver not to pay attention these days. The speed that a vehicle can travel at, the distance it can travel in a very short period of time, is truly awesome. A vehicle travelling at 40 miles per hour will cover 60 feet in the space of a second. So that means if the driver is fiddling with his sat-nav, changing the radio station, or worst of all, texting or talking on his mobile phone, that loss of attention can be absolutely critical. Now, if you're a passenger in the vehicle, you are guaranteed, one way or another, to obtain some kind of compensation. One of the complications that might arise is that it may be your friend, your husband, your wife, your civil partner who is the driver. And I'm frequently asked, is there any point in my claiming against my husband, etc.? Because I know the case will be dealt with by his insurance company. He's going to lose his no claims bonus. The insurance premium are going to go up. And the short answer to that is, in the main, it almost always financially is worth it. A typical accident scenario is a whiplash claim, where you're jerked forward first of all, and then suddenly backwards. Most of these cases resolve within about 3 to 6 months or so, although very occasionally, depending on the severity of impact, etc., I've known cases which have gone on where the symptoms have gone on much longer than that, and they're very difficult. Once you get past 6 months or so, 9 months, a year, you might well be looking at a chronic or permanent injury. But in the typical scenario, you're talking about 3 to 6 months or so. That will generate a compensation award of between, I would say, £1,500 to £2,500 to £3,000. So the chances are that yes, it is worthwhile, and you should make a claim. The other scenario is where your husband or spouse or civil partner does not accept that he's to blame, wants to blame someone else who wants to blame him. In that case, there may well be a comparative fault arrangement where each is to blame 50-50. Doesn't matter to you. You're not stuck with 50-50. You are going to recover in full because it's absolutely not your fault. What you might find in that situation is that the lawyer says, well, there's a conflict of interest. I can't act for the whole family at this point in time. I'll deal with the passenger claim. I may refer the driver to another lawyer. And that's a kind of legal thing. We are not able to act for people where there's a conflict of interest between them. But this kind of thing happens all the time. It's no big deal, and it shouldn't put you off. One other thing that just talking about car accidents is you may have noticed that Uber have just issued a standard instruction to all passengers that when they're about to leave the vehicle, they should check that they will not be about to open the door and hit a cyclist. Apparently last year there were at least around 400 accidents. These accidents are known as dooring, where the door gets opened and the cyclist gets flattened. There were 2 fatalities. 2 cyclists were killed as a result of it. So every time you get an Uber from now on, you're going to be reminded to take care. And what people don't generally know is that the vehicle insurance policy will cover that situation. It will cover the actions of the passenger as well. So the cyclist will have a claim, and it won't be against the passenger, it'll be against the insurance company. What about bus accidents? And the typical scenario there is that you get on the bus, you pay for your ticket, you're making your way back to your seat, and the bus takes off, and for whatever reason, you're thrown to the ground. You perhaps have known people suffer quite serious injury as a result of it. There is a common myth amongst the public that the bus driver has got to wait until everyone is seated safely before taking off. Now, if you think about it, the buses, it would play havoc with the travel schedule if that was the law. That is not the law. What the law says the driver has to do is to drive off slowly and smoothly and not jerkily. And one of the evidential points is that almost all buses now carry CCTV at various parts of the bus, and also have black box tracking devices or telematics. So if you're a person who's been involved in one of these accidents, you can very quickly put the insurers to the test by saying, well, your driver says he moved off smoothly, produce the telematics. And sure enough, the telematics show that he starts off going up slowly to 5 miles per hour, suddenly slams on the brakes, and that's when the accident happened. One of the most common defences for the bus companies is, someone else cut out in front of me, I had to make an emergency stop. And of course, there are times when the bus drivers have got to do that. A child might run out in front of them. An animal, a dog or a cat might run out in front of them. And the modern thinking is, emergency braking has got to take place in that event. There is no liability on the driver. Where it's a vehicle, if the vehicle registration number can be traced, then the claim can go against the insurance company of the driver, most of whom have disappeared and are long gone from sight. Realistically, I can't think of any case that I've been involved in where people had the presence of mind to get the registration number of the vehicle which has disappeared into the far horizon. But you can still make a claim, although it's on a slightly restricted basis, to the Motor Insurers Bureau via the Untraced Driver Scheme. And that will give you, if you're injured as a result of a sudden stop where a driver has had to take emergency procedure because of another car which has disappeared after the accident, you can still claim via the Motor Insurers Untraced Driver Scheme. But it's something where I would recommend you get in touch with a lawyer and get in touch with a lawyer as soon as possible. I've written a brief guide to accident and injury compensation in Scotland. It's called the Scotland Accident and Injury Advice Book, How to Avoid the Mistakes That Could Ruin Your Personal Injury Claim. It's available on Amazon, but if you like, we will send you a hard copy free of charge if you request via the online request form, or alternatively, it's available in downloadable PDF format. If you've been affected by any of the issues which I've discussed here, please get in touch with us. We're ready to listen. We're ready to help.